Hi, I've just released a new pattern called Heriot Row, and I wanted to take a moment and tell you about it. This is the pattern, so it's a lacy cowl, and Heriot Row was inspired by the architecture in Edinburgh's New Town. So this has been brewing on my mind since I was at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival for the first time in 2017. And now the 2018 event has just passed, and I think it's perfect time to release this. We did take some photos of this in Edinburgh's New Town this year, so that's where the photos for the pattern page on Ravelry are from. But here you can see what it looks like in the flesh. Let me talk you through the different stitch patterns. As you can see, this is not mirrored, so it's not symmetrical in the pattern placement. You start with a lacy rib at the bottom, and then you have some textured stitches there in the middle, more lace pattern and textured stitches, and then you have these diamond shapes and a rib at the top. Now, Edinburgh's New Town architecture in there. And this is the wrought iron fences and the railings you see there. This stitch pattern is for the stone walls. These are the tall windows on the buildings, and here you see the rooftop with the clouds, because there's pretty much always clouds in the sky in Edinburgh, right? So that's the inspiration behind this. Let me try and model this one for you. It does drape nicely around your neck, and if you're wearing a coat and want it to warm your neck while you're out, you just pull it up and zip your coat up, and it'll stay there and keep you all warm. I knit my sample with Lina Knits 5 in the Dune colorway, which is the same yarn that I used for my carré shawl. And I love the yarn. The base is wonderful to work with, and Maria's dyeing is phenomenal. The brown is very lively, like a semi-tonal color, and it's just a perfect brown that goes with most other colors. And I think it shows the different stitch patterns really quite well. This weighs 56 grams, so you don't need a full skein of fingering weight yarn for this. The 5 is 100% merino base, and you need 250 meters, which is about 270 yards of fingering weight yarn. So not a full skein. You probably have something in your stash right now that you could use, leftovers from another project, or those single lovely skeins that we love to buy. I think this could easily be done with the single ply yarn as well, or with something with a bit of silk content in it. For the different stitch patterns to show up, I do recommend the yarn that has a good stitch definition, but because of the nature of a cowl and how you want it to function, you also want the yarn to have some drape. I used 3.5 millimeter needles, a 40 centimeter circular, that's a 16-inch circular needle, and 3.5 millimeters is US 4. But do get a needle size that you get the pattern gauge with. The gauge is given for this stitch pattern, so you can swatch with that. Although, of course, the gauge is really not that important. It just affects the dimensions of your cowl a bit. I think the important thing is to get a fabric you're happy with. The pattern has both charts and written instructions for all the different stitch patterns used. So you can, whatever your preference is, there's a way for you to look at it. The circumference of my sample is 54 centimeters, 21.25 inches. So 21 and 1/4 inches, and the length, the height of the cowl is 28 centimeters, 11 inches. The pattern is out now and available on Ravelry, and have a look at the Lina Knits shop to see if Maria has any of the 5 base in there, or any of her other gorgeous fingering weight bases, which I think would work well for this as well. So that was a brief introduction to Heriot Row. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.